Oh,
Welcome everybody to our Sunday night fun, where we dive into all the creepy, unexplained, and paranormal. We are Global Strangeness, and we are three strangers brought together. Not so strangers anymore. I feel like we're getting to know each other, and our love of all this creepy stuff has definitely brought us closer.
And look at these beautiful eggs trying to finish dinner up.
Oh, there's a scary sight. So
for your wallet.
tonight we are diving into mermaids and mermen. Sorry, I don't want to leave anyone out there.
What about the mermaids?
Should we go over the pronouns? So, anywho,
Merzers. Did anybody find a Merzer? No. No. Okay.
So traditionally, if for anyone who's not sure what a mermaid is, I don't know how you could not have ever heard of one, but just in case, a mermaid is a mythical sea-dwelling creature, often described as having the body of a woman or man with a fish tail below the waist. And stories of mermaids have existed for thousands of years and span, cultures across the world, from coastal settlements to Ireland to the landlocked Peru Desert in South Africa, which I didn't know before I started researching this or digging into this. I didn't realize there was mermaids that showing up in lagoons and I thought it was deep ocean type creatures. So that's kind of cool. They can pop up anywhere apparently. So
yeah, they're all over the place.
Yeah.
Where there's water, there's mer people.
Right.
Well, yeah, they got freshwater dolphins.
True. Yeah, I guess that's true. It makes sense. I mean, So anyway, so I went way back. So, at the beginning, in the 2nd century AD, there was numerous sightings and around Gaul. Am I saying that right? Gaul. Anyways, the governor of Gaul wrote a letter to the Emperor Augustus to inform him of these creatures. And so that's 2nd century AD. And then in the 18th century, Blackbeard mentioned them in his logbook. And he actually had maps and he had areas designated where there's mermaids, and he would purposely avoid those places. So I thought that was kind of cool. And then in 1493, Christopher Columbus spotted 3 mermaids off the coast of Hispaniola. And so there's 3 of them, and he described them as not being all that attractive and really quite mannish looking. And so a lot of people figure he was looking at manatees, perhaps after tequila or 2 himself. So, because his were very beautiful, apparently. And then, so that's kind of all the sort of older ones. And then in 1943, in the Kai Islands, I don't know if I'm saying that correctly either, but in the Kai Islands, Japanese soldiers in World War II saw a man fish, so it's a man one, and there was quite a few sightings, and they're kind of 150 centimeters tall. They had spikes on the spine and shoulders, and the local villagers knew all about this. They were really common there, and they actually called it the orang icon, which literally translates to manfish. And so the story goes, a troop of soldiers came to a lagoon, and while they're out exploring, and there was just this regular old lagoon, and all of a sudden there's this big thrashing, splashing thing, and it jumps out onto a rock, and it made a really weird gurgling sound. And they looked, and there was another one in the water still swimming towards them really aggressively, and they did not seem nice or friendly at all. And so they went back, and their sergeant, Mr. Tarot, when they told him about this, he was really interested, and he asked the villagers to let him know if they ever found another one, if another one was sighted or a dead one washed up. And it didn't take very long, and there was another sighting, and he was really kind of excited about it. And he, I guess, tried to get the scientific community involved and this, sort of document it, and the scientific community wanted nothing to do with it. So, which I find that weird. Why wouldn't they? But
Because the government already knows and they're hiding it like everything else.
possibly, right? Yeah, possibly. And then, so coming quite a bit bit closer to our times, in 2009 in the Kiryat Haim beach, there was multiple sightings. This one's quite interesting because there's multiple sightings. And so it became a really big thing. And the government actually did get involved in that. And so, onlookers kept seeing this girlfish, and she'd be, seen doing tricks in the water or whatever. And so many people were citing this. There were so many accounts of it that the government actually offered a $1 million reward for proof. And it didn't have to be a captured live one. It didn't have to be a dead one, just a photo, even like a good, if you could prove the photo was real. $1 million. And so NBC, got in there. They're like, they took a crew out and they searched and searched. They were, looking for quite a while. A bunch of onlookers, you can imagine, the locals, everybody, $1 million, of course. And so they tried to tail it, and I guess eventually one night, it was one dark night, they did finally see her. It was like a human-like fish, and dipping in and out of the water. And so they tried to get footage. They tried to track a bunch of regular onlookers or whatever. Everybody was snapping photos, snapping footage, whatever they had. And so all this footage, they didn't get a really good, perfect clip or perfect picture or anything. But they got some people. There was stuff, and they sent everything. All the footage was sent to the Center for the Coastal, whatever in LA, the Coastal Center, anyways. And so Michael Stack, who's the center's director, he examined all the evidence, and he said it was impossible to confirm. So they, NBC says theirs is for sure real. I mean, but this Michael Stack guy said it's impossible to say that it's 1000% real, but it's really probable or possible. So that's pretty cool. And guess what, guys? $1 million is still up for grabs. It's still an active. I think we should go there for our summer vacation because there's still $1 million. That reward is still out there. If somebody actually catches perfect proof, they still have that there. So,
all right, Scott, let's go merf fishing.
That's it. I think so, right? So yeah, and it's quite hyped up. So. And that is where I'm passing it on. That's all.
What did you want to watch your video?
Yeah, that's a whole different thing. That's off to. I thought that was really interesting. We could pull that up. That's not particular to any of these stories. That's off TikTok, and that's apparently supposed to be proof. But so let's see what you guys think, if it's proof or not.
Okay, let me
roll that film, Scott.
Share some audio.
Does this video really show a mermaid? This video has been viewed millions of times and it's left people divided. Some people think it's real and other people aren't convinced. So what do we really know about this video? The video first appeared on TikTok on the 6th of April and it said it was filmed in Muizenberg in South Africa. But a longer video appeared on YouTube that said it was filmed in Kenya, so it's not actually clear where this alleged mermaid sighting was actually filmed. But police in Kenya and South Africa say they've not had any reports of any mermaids washing up on their shores. Some people in the comment section say the video shows something other than a mermaid, like a large fish that's tried to swallow a child, and that the sound you hear in the video is actually a catfish.
Oh, really?
Others said that if you look closely, the child seems to be wearing a wig, and when they breathe, the top half and the bottom half seems to separate. South African police say they've had no reports of any children being bitten by fish, and Kenyan police say the video is fake, and it could be a child's body digitally altered onto a dead fish. So with no solid scientific evidence of mermaids even existing, and this video's authenticity being disputed, it's pretty unlikely that this is actually a mermaid.
What do you think? Kid being swallowed by a fish? Kid in a fish costume?
I'm hearing a bunch of shit. Okay, there we go. It looked like a catfish upside down with hopefully not a dead child.
Yeah, true that. Well, they said it was breathing, so.
Yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think?
I
That's a
mean,
costume.
I would like to think it was a real thing, but it's just if it's a real thing, I don't think you're going to see it on land. I think it's on people are going to drag it back and bury it deep in the ocean where they bury all their dead. So, I mean, or maybe they eat it. Maybe they're cannibals. Who knows?
Chowder.
Who knows? But you want to go next, Scott, or me?
You go for it.
All right. Well, I got a bunch of stories. Deborah kind of covered one of them, but that's okay. I always get extra for that reason. But the first one I got was a sighting in 1967 near the main islands of British Columbia. So I'm going into Deborah's territory. And no, I will not get Uta here. But a ferry filled with tourists spotted a blonde-haired mermaid sitting topless on the beach, eating a salmon fish and enjoying the waves splash up on her. One witness said she was attractive and had dimples. There was one photo taken of the event, which does show a blonde woman with the lower half of a porpoise. A similar incident happened later that week with a mermaid spying, but by that time there were plenty of skeptics who didn't believe it was real. Charles White from the Undersea Gardens financed a $25,000 only reward, not $1 million, for the mermaid's capture, and even offered room and board with special combs for the mermaid pleasure. Ooh la la. But this may sound odd, but the company was desperate to prove her existence. Unfortunately, the story died pretty soon after that. One of those tabloid of the week things, I'm guessing. But the next one I got is in 1998 in Kailua Kona, which is in Hawaii. A diver named Leicher, Leicher, claims he got the first ever documented proof that mermaids exist. He operates the Jack Diving Locker of Kauai and was 20 minutes off the coast of Kauai when he saw what looked like a nude woman swimming with a pod of dolphins. Could have just been a vacationer. The woman was able to keep up the pace with the dolphins, which he thought was odd. All of a sudden, she jumps in the air and he realizes she has the lower half of a fish. 10 people on the boat witnessed the incident, but the mermaid disappeared after just 2 jumps out of the water. About an hour later, as Leicher was photographing some underwater life, the same mermaid brushed up against him while swimming and turned back around just in time for him to snap a few pictures. He said he felt very lucky that I'm the one to finally prove to the world what people here have known for half a century. The Kauai Point mermaid is real, however you pronounce it. And then I had the Hispaniola one too, but Deborah did that, and I got nothing else extra to add to it. So, but in 1608 in the Arctic Ocean, Henry Hudson, British explorer, he made his second attempt at finding a northeast passage to China from Europe, which he believed could exist through the Arctic Ocean. On the 15th of June, members of Hudson's crew on a ship Half Moon are said to have recorded sighting a mermaid in the icy waters of the Arctic Ocean. However, it's considered that the event may have been fabricated by the author Philip Uncle in his book, The Adventures of Henry Hudson, to add excitement to the journeys. And it's actually funny because the town I grew up in, Kingston, New York, actually has a celebration every summer where a replica of the Half Moon sails on the Hudson River through Kingston. And I think it goes all the way up to Canada, actually. But when you live in the Hudson Valley in New York, that kind of happens. But the next one I got is in the West Indies. In the early 1700s, the English pirate Edward Teak, better known as Blackbeard, he recorded one of the most discussed mermaid stories in his logbook. He was generally regarded as a fearsome and dangerous man. However, he wasn't. That's been proven now. He just liked to play tricks on people by putting fireworks in his beard to make it look like his beard's on fire. So people thought he was a demon. But historians believe that he was prone to bending the truth on several voyages to get his crew to follow his will while maintaining his legend. He ordered that his ships avoid charted waters in West Indies because he claimed they were filled with dangerous mermaids. Pirates and sailors at the time believed mermaids were evil and would steal their gold. But people think he made up the story, basically. So, I mean, it's basically just people saying like he made up the story to try to get his way. But who knows? And then the next one I have is up in Deborah's area as well. In the 1870s, 1880s, in Vancouver, the mermaid of Point Grey was sighted in the 1870s by 3 men fishing with their native guide. They told newspaper reporters they had seen a woman with brown skin and long blonde hair rise up from the water close to their boat and stare at them. The guy left his career on the water after that incident. Local legends said that seeing one was terrible luck and would lead to the death of the spotter if returned to water. So, I mean, that's kind of giving them like the Selkie myth that like the point of them is to drag you back down the water and kill you and eat you. So, or turn you into one of them. I mean, that's the Selkie story I've heard both ways, but. And then the second to last one I have is in Pennsylvania, Scott. In 1881, a fisherman named Henry Lukes reported seeing a mermaid on 5 separate occasions in the Susquehanna River tributary known as Dugan's Run. The York Daily newspaper revealed the tale and commented that it was unusual for such fantastical sightings to be found in the river. Instead, they were usually reserved for the legends of the coast of Massachusetts. I couldn't find any of those, and I live in Massachusetts. Come on now. But it went on to say that the Dugan's Run mermaid was always seen early in the morning or late in the evening. This particular mermaid had a woman's head with jet black hair and always kept its body below its shoulders underneath the water. Henry said that he thought of shooting the mermaid, but didn't want to be tried for murder. It's a mermaid. You're not going to get tried for murder. Instead, he hoped to be able to capture the creature alive and would attempt to lure the creature from what he said was its cave home deep underneath the river. And I guess he never did because there was nothing more on him. So, wild ambitions, you know? And the last one I got, we're going back up to Canada again. In Victoria, Canada, in 1967, the mermaid of active past was spotted sitting on rocks by passengers as they traveled aboard a ferry boat. Wait a minute. Oh, this is the one I already fucking did. What the hell? It's a Victoria, the last one. Goddamn Canadians can't get their city straight. It's at British Columbia in that last one. What the hell? Goddamn Canadians. But
Well, that's where Victoria is.
that's all I got for mermaids then. But yeah, I saw no mermen fucking articles. I don't know why.
Yeah, I just saw, well, the one, I guess. They were mermen. With the soldiers, right? That was manfish. But yeah, mermaids. Yeah. It seems like women. It's more females. From lonely, guys out at sea for 100 years see female fish. Look beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, manatees look good when you have manatees look good when you haven't seen a woman for a good 6 months.
Right.
Okay, well, the first thing I did was try to get some sightings, some known sightings off a GTP bot or GPT bot. And he told me that mermaids were fake, some bitch. But then I did ask him when are the poles going to shift and we're all going to die? You guys should get into that on GPT bot. Keep asking Armageddon questions. He is like right on it. Like, we don't know when, but it's going to happen. Should even ask him when AI is taking over. It's scary. But then I went on Reddit. I tried to find some, just like reports and stuff, eyewitness reports. I found one. And then at the end of the story, it was a fucking great story, in-depth, detailed story. The guy basically said, "This is all bullshit. I'm glad I wasted your time. Go fuck yourself." Which, good on him. That was funny. So then I started looking into some lore through all the different cultures. So first up, I've got the Ninjio. So this is like a Japanese mermaid type creature. It's mainly depicted as being a fish with a human head. Sometimes it does have the full upper torso. And this thing was first recorded back in the 7th century when they actually claimed that fishermen brought up nets of this creature. And then at that time, it wasn't like a bad thing, but by the medieval times, in the 7th century, they were pulled out of fresh water, but then by the medieval times, they were thought to live mainly in the sea. So this actually dates to Buddhist religion too. Yeo Binkuni is supposedly an 800-year-old Buddhist priestess, and she was supposed to live that long off of eating these creatures. So Hillary and her adrenal gland has nothing on the Ninjio, if you can find them. And then next up, I've got, you guys have probably heard of this one, the Mami Wata. Have either of you heard about that?
Keep going. I'm not sure.
I doubt I have, but
So this is like an African mermaid / spirit, and I found that with a couple of mine. They like sometimes they're depicted as mermaids, sometimes they're depicted as spirits. But this one mainly resides in south, central, and western parts of Africa. And yeah, depending on where you are in Africa, the lore varies wildly. So some think of her as a typical looking mermaid, while others describe her more as looking like a human, but with a fish tail. So sort of like a merfolk from Magic the Gathering. And then other people just say she's like a spirit, a water spirit. But most of the time she is depicted to have a snake that hangs on her like an emotional support animal. And this plays into some other shit where she's supposed to be carrying a mirror and a comb. Like in a lot of the different lore, she's carrying a really expensive mirror and a comb. And another cool yet weird thing she does is she will actually abduct you so she can take you to the underwater realm. And then you can leave that realm at any time. But if you do leave, you're going to be more successful and get a bunch of money. And like this, the fucking Mami Wata is, we do a whole episode on her. But she's not just like a mermaid. She's actually worshipped by a lot of Africans. So they have one story of her tells of a traveler who saw her grooming herself on the river edge. And then she ran off, leaving her mirror and comb. And then this has happened multiple times, but if you pick up her comb and her mirror, she'll actually come to you in your dreams demanding for her possessions back. And then she's going to make a deal with you. She says, this fish lady that you've never met before says that you have to stay sexually faithful to her forever, where you're going to be rewarded with riches. But if you don't, you're fucked for eternity. So take that.
well,
I mean, Africa's got some crazy shit going on.
what kind of fucked for eternity are we talking here, Scott?
You have
He's
to
weighing
say
the options here.
you've got to be like a Mormon crazy guy obsessed with this fish lady, and only one fish lady. Can't have 20 fish ladies. That's bad.
Of course.
Not that Mormon.
It sounds reasonable for this girl. I'm on her side.
I mean, as Meatloaf said, I would do anything for love, but I won't do that.
But you don't love this lady. You saw her abandon her mirror and comb, and you were like, cool, this shit looks sweet. And you picked it up, and the next thing you know, she's strong-arming you into fucking marriage. How many deals does she have with other men in this same situation?
I love her.
Lady seems like kind of a bitch.
Hey, I've met women like this.
Queen of polyamory is what I'm thinking.
She got so many guys on the hook, it's not even funny.
On the hook, literally. You back down, you're fucked for eternity, bitch. So her lore goes on. I mean, like I said, we could do a whole fucking episode on this lady, or fish lady. But people still to this day, modern day people, actually pray to Mami Wata.
Huh.
And they pray from anything, because she's supposed to be a healer too. So they ask her to heal their terminal illnesses, their sick children, all the way down to like headaches. They walk down to the rivers or the lakes or whatever and ask Mami Wata to fucking heal them. So next up, I've got the Finfolk, which is probably my favorite mermaid that I found. They're a Scandinavian breed of mermaid that spends half of their time in Finfolkheim, which is like this massive underwater castle that's made of like just crystal. The whole building's made of crystal. And then there's supposed to be all these beautiful, well-maintained outdoor landscaped like seaweed, underwater plants, just fucking magnificent. And then they spend the other half of their life on some island that's not very important. But the men in the Finfolk are reported to steal your silver and wives in good old real Viking style mermaidism. And they'll also steal men and children and then force them into eternal servitude. The women, on the other hand, are supposed to be beautiful, normal-looking mermaids that will find a human husband, and then they'll either bring him back to their home, good old Finfolkenheim, or if the woman decides to go with the man, she'll turn into a woman, and she's supposed to be like the best healer or spinner, but whatever profit she makes in the real world, she is forced to send back to her home, the island in Finfolkenheim. Otherwise, the town's giving her a couple of these right to the face. Bitch needs to profit if she wants to live in the human world.
Isn't that just, that sounds like a catfish woman that just, gets on a dating site, sucks in a guy, gets all his money, that, oh, I have to send this money back home or I'm in trouble.
Oh, no, she's the one that works. So the guy kind of makes out in this scenario.
Okay.
She's just got to send all the additional profit back home. But this lady's like, the best healer, the best spinner in the world. So, and then second to last, I got the Naga, otherwise known as the North American Grappling Association. So the North American Grappling Association have been around South Asia in history, like recorded at least 2,000 years. It's not the North American Grappling Association. But the Naga, while they're not like totally a mermaid, it's still the same concept. So this is another one. They've been depicted to look like just spirits, and then Medusa herself is a Naga, but then some of them are like half human, half snake creatures.
Wait a minute, Grappling Association. So this is where Asian wrestling started?
Yeah. Well, it's the North American Grappling Association. So
so Hulk Hogan was in it. Good to know.
When I first looked up the Naga, that was the first thing that popped up. So I had to give him a shout out there. These aren't just throwaway creatures, though. They show up in Hindu, Buddhist, and Jainism text. So they're in a lot of Asian actual religion. Like a lot of these are worshipped. And I didn't want to get into all this because that definitely could be its own fucking episode with the Naga. And then the last one I have, shout out to Russia and Ukraine, is a Slavic creature. It's called the Rusalka, which I know I'm fucking up like the other ones, but so in modern times, these are mainly seen as evil and malicious creatures, but before the 19th century, they were actually another like deity associated with fertility. And now it's all over the place. The whole thing, it goes from like a mermaid to just a straight water spirit. But this creature, this mermaid from the origin, is more like the lady in white, So she's got that same story,
Oh,
like she
La
became.
Llorona.
Yeah, La Llorona. The fucking Supernatural did a different one. Like, there's a million stories of this. Basically, a man fucked her life up, killed her, drowned her, whatever. Now she's a
Always.
mermaid.
No, she doesn't get drowned in it. She drowns her kids in it, and that's why she walks the waters to look for her kids.
Well, this one, it's a fucking man's problem. Okay, it's always the
Well,
man.
Long
it's always
story
a man.
short, it's always the man.
Yes.
It's always the man who causes her to drown the kids, but it's always the man. I mean, it's always the man, but she still drowns the kids. The man didn't do that by his own hands.
But it's still his fault. Come on. It's all
Everything
his fault.
is, Deborah. We know we're Americans. We're used to it.
So, either way, if you're going to fight for Ukraine, or maybe you want to go fight for Russia, I would stay out of there in the month of June, because this lady actually has her own Rusalka week, where she's just fucking dudes up, dude. You're in a waterway, you're getting fucked up. Doesn't matter if you're a gay guy that doesn't even like women, said great relationships with women your whole life. You're a dude, you're getting fucked up. And she even comes out into the woods on that 1 week. She just stay out of Russia, Ukraine, Poland, any Slavic country for 1 week in June, because she is fucking everybody up. You think this Russia-Ukraine war has some lives on the table? This she's got to make up for lost time.
Well, actually, I talked to a Ukrainian person on the episode I dropped last Wednesday. I talked to her about the Ukraine war, because you have Ukraine on your show at this point. You got to talk to them about it, get an inside perspective. But
what did she say? America all the way? Fuck both our countries?
no,
Sorry, Canada.
No, she just said, she basically just said that it's horrible what Russia's doing, that they're lying to their own people, and they're not telling the Russian people don't know what their own military is doing. They are advertising in Russia that the Ukraine's attacking them.
I think everybody's lying to everybody.
That's
But they
right.
shut-
Honestly, who isn't?
It's Russia. They shut off the internet so people can't find out the truth.
Yeah.
I think that goes again. I think you're right. Both sides probably. I think this bitch in the bushes on that week. I'm putting my money with her and telling the most truth.
Yeah.
But it's Russia. They have been for all of eternity. They like their land that they had, and they always want it back.
Yeah, but we were putting, fucking weapons of mass destruction right next, further and further, with Libya, Poland, all the way back from like pre-Clinton days.
Well,
I like watching the news from India, because they don't really have a dog in the race there. But to each their own. I think this lady's fucking them all up.
The India basically got free of the British, and are like, fuck all these white people, we're done.
Yeah.
They said, we are to make them suffer. We are going to take control of all their IT departments and make them talk to us when they need something fixed with their computer.
Yeah, they're like extra doing the accent when you call into AT&T.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's fuck with these people a little more.
Oh, the IT department of my company is fully in India.
Well, now that we've pissed everybody off.
Wait, we were talking about beautiful mermaids. How did this happen?
Hey,
it's the lady in white, dude.
We are global strangeness. It's our job to make everybody estranged. So
that's, I guess, yeah, we're doing our job. Thank you very much.
Hey, if me singing Renegade doesn't do it, then, Come Sail Away doesn't do it, then yeah, we have to think of other ways.
So here's the big question always with the mermaids, especially for the boys, because they're supposedly so beautiful you can't resist.
Where are you going with this?
So you pull a you find one, she's absolutely gorgeous. Are you going with her or not?
Well, depends, Deborah. How much of your tequila have I drinking at this point? And two,
well, enough that a manatee looks good to you, I guess.
Okay, well, here's a philosophy question for Scott. What would you rather have? a mermaid with a human top and fish bottom, or a mermaid with a fish top and human bottom?
I'll just take a straight fish.
Oh,
Well,
no.
you go fisting. You have to go fisting for catfish. So I mean, that's just something.
They don't call it noodling for nothing, dude.
Alrighty, was not expecting this to go,
You know,
go that far. Okay.
if I found a mermaid, to be honest, I'm probably gonna cut one side of her bottom fin off and get some really good tackle, and then we're going in the deepest part of the ocean and catching the megalodon. I bet you
Ooh.
that's what megalodons eat.
And I will write
Mermaids.
that. And I will no. Megalodons eat like whales, dude. That's not enough nutrition for
No,
them.
dude.
They'd
They
have
can
to-
never catch the mermaids, but this one's just running around. It's spinning in circles. I'm telling you, catch the meg.
A megalodon would have to probably literally eat a village of mermaids to fucking get full.
But it's a cat treat, dude.
And
Like I've always wanted one of those. They always
Did you not-
outrun me.
did you not see the?
I'm putting a nice outfit on her. We're jumping on a plane and we're getting over to the country where they're offering $1 million for proof.
Oh shit! Yeah, that's
And then I'm
probably
taking
the
a
best.
photo there. I'm taking a selfie right there. I'm getting
That was
$1 million
probably
bucks.
the best answer.
Well, no. Here's the thing. Have you not seen the Meg, Scott? The megalodon eats whales and they're cute little baby whales,
Okay.
but they won't eat the little dogs that are paddling along the water.
Well, I eat a whole chicken, dude, but every once in a while I want a little gummy bear. Like, come on, the gummy bear tastes better than the chicken.
I don't know. You would think the mermaid would taste a little fishy.
Or like human. That's what it really wants to eat. Did you watch the Meg? Did you watch the Meg? That's what it really wants to eat.
No,
Wants to
it
eat
tended,
humans.
it tended to only eat humans when they got in the way. Like when
Didn't
it's
it
jumping
fuck
on the
that chihuahua up? Come on.
no
now,
at the
dude.
end of at the end of the movie, the dog's still paddling back to shore.
Okay, I don't. I did like the. I liked the storyline of that where it was like trapped
Yeah,
below like a sediment layer.
it's trapped beneath a pressure changing layer where the temperature is different.
Yeah, no, I could see
that's-
some shit like that happening.
It's based on real theories of where megafauna for the ocean may exist, because they think they only capture colossal squids coming up from that layer.
Well, and that's like for the
sense.
mermaids. I think that's where they would be.
Right?
Like,
That's what I think. Yeah.
all this Canada and Scandinavian shit, like they don't have
Hey.
fur on them, right? Like,
Don't forget
how
that
the fuck are they not freezing to death?
Do fish have fur on them except for the fur-bearing trout?
Yeah, but they're like mammalian, and like unless they're big old, all you can eat buffet mermaids that are just like.
Okay, you need to make a reel out of that right there of you doing that voice.
100%.
But no, I mean, well,
This
I'll
is
tell you what-
high scientific talk right here, you guys.
ain't it? But I mean, Scott, think about it this way: there's always perky then.
Huh?
Up in the north, they're always perky when they come out of the water.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, and they're always like
That's how they
bulimic
lure the
fucking
guys in, of
people.
course.
Like, no, it ain't happening, dude.
They drag the guy in like, I need warmth.
I could see the whole like megalodon, like you're saying, different temperature. It's like the equator for fish, and that's where the mermaids are hanging out. And then
Yeah,
like
that
they
makes sense.
they break through, and that's when we find a dead body
I mean, I don't know, but
because they
I honestly
freeze to death.
Did you guys, because they do say carcasses wash up and stuff, did any of you guys find a carcass picture that looked convincing
No.
or no?
Or
Because
fish.
Yeah.
because the government just takes all the bodies away before anybody can get a picture.
Oh.
And if you took a picture, the government will find you.
Mhm.
And they'll break every damn camera in your house.
But why
So-
would they do that?
Because
Do
mermaids
you think
are
we're
the
at
anti-
war? You think this whole Russia-Ukraine thing is a farce because we're really at war with the fucking mermaids?
No, that's
Could
just
be.
that's going down a black hole that you'll never come out of. But I mean, I think the government doesn't want to scare people by letting them know there are things out there that they don't want, that they should know about. So they hide anything that's what the Men in Black are for. They hide anything that's cryptid.
Do you think it's because they don't want to scare people, or they want to know what it is and get control and somehow use it to their advantage over other countries?
Well,
'Cause I'm more cynical about the governments.
That sounds smarter.
If you've seen Cabin in the Woods, then you know they do that.
I didn't see that.
Oh, dude.
Well, you think any UFO crafts and whatever, like, they keep that. And it's not because they don't want to scare people, because they want to figure out that technology first before other countries do.
I had a neighbor a couple years ago who he worked for the government in aeronautics, and he's been to a place in the desert that a lot of people believe exists, but he can't tell me the name of it. But
Yeah.
and I'm pretty damn sure he's seen a UFO, and that he's tried to help them figure out parts of it and how it works.
Well, there's tons of stuff coming out now. Scott, I think we might have to go here one day. We might have to talk.
You could have done aliens, dude. I told you, like, I don't care.
It's
Aliens,
more
there's a ton of
It's
shit to research.
a thing. It's a thing. And that the governments do hide everything from actual bodies and whatever to crafts because of the technology and stuff. Yeah.
I'll tell you, I have an episode coming out in a couple weeks, in like a month, of a man who was a former pro wrestler who ran for senator, and he
Jesse Ventura.
No, not him, not him, not him. That'd be awesome, but not him. I don't know what this guy was like. Jerry Lawler's AWA, like he wasn't like, he never got big in any other like he never got any of the big three back in the 90s, and he has done a lot of research into an alien autopsy video that he saw, and he can prove it's real. So people should check out that episode if they want to hear more about it. But he's done the research. I listened to him for an hour, and I am completely convinced that he knows what the hell he's talking about.
I am glad we have a skeptic on this show to keep us grounded. Just saying.
Oh,
you're the one keeping us grounded. Oh my.
Yeah, it's up to me.
The voice of reason right there, ladies and gentlemen.
The
With the
voice
Keystone light in his
of
hand.
reason.
With the Keystone lights in his hand.
And a new one.
He might as well be playing Edward 40 Hands. But
I think one can get too familiarized with the vegetables. You guys didn't see Ratatouille? Come on, that was fucking.
Yes.
I watched it once for a podcast, but it's okay.
Oh.
So who's up, you guys? Who's up for next week? What are we doing?
I believe it's me.
Oh, there you go. What are we doing?
Well, after thinking about it for most of this episode and trying to figure out what we haven't done and what we could do, but I've hit we've done a lot of cryptids already, so I didn't want to do another cryptid just yet. So since the episode we recorded earlier today is going to release next Sunday, I am thinking let's do
dance party.
Funny man.
Is it a dance party?
Scott, no one wants to watch us dance. But we're not the dancing Amish man on Facebook. But we will do an urban legends episode where we discuss different urban legends and their possibility of being real.
How many are we doing each?
Everybody can, based on how long the ones they are doing are. We'll discuss
27 and a half.
Damn, Americans always gotta brag, but yeah, we'll discuss during the week on who's doing what. But I call it hand. But yeah, let's do urban legends since it'll tie in with the episode I'm releasing that day anyway, and we can advertise for it.
That'll be easier to research.
Yeah, tons of them, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
There's tons of them. So I mean, we didn't even touch. We did 34 of them today. We didn't even touch half the list. So.
Well, and a lot of them were like straight either cryptids or conspiracies.
Oh, I left off Bigfoot, Jersey Devil,
or
and all
truths.
The other or what?
Truths. There are alligators in the sewer in New York.
The voice
Well-
of reason pipes up again.
Walt Disney did freeze himself.
So his
Stuff
head,
over-
not just himself, his head, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, I'm pretty
I've
sure he
heard-
did.
I've heard both because he had a nice body and he wanted to keep it. But
And the poison candy, like that's known fact.
I
too.
mean,
That
If you
poison
look like-
candy happens. I'm pretty sure there is weirdos
I
that
mean-
poison candy.
but if you look like Tom Hanks, why wouldn't you want to freeze your body? That's
Who
what I'm
looked
saying.
like Tom Hanks?
Walt Disney. That's why they cast Tom Hanks as him in the movie.
I mean,
You never saw.
I didn't
You
see
never-
I
you know-
guess from a
Oh,
from a
it's,
girl point of view, I'm like, meh, okay.
They did a movie about the woman who wrote Mary Poppins, and well, Tom Hanks played Walt Disney in it. I forget what it was called.
Would you freeze your head if you had if you were given that option?
Yes, because there'll be robot bodies eventually. They can put me on, like Futurama. I could be Nixon with a giant robot body.
No, you can't be. You're you. Like it's your
I know,
head.
but-
It's your brain.
Same theory. Same theory. I could be Nixon bot, but with my head, and I won't try to commit scandalous crimes in Washington. Maybe.
You know, Tucker Carlson said he was totally innocent of that, and it was the CIA that fucked him.
Well, the CIA likes to fuck a lot.
Live on Fox News last week.
Um,
Food for thought.
I don't know, but we will see. And yeah, I think urban legends is a good topic because. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I thought it was a good idea to do urban legends on our show actually, and go into more detail than I did today about some of them.
No, I'm down, and some of them I have never heard of, so it's kind of interesting.
I know Homie almost won, but what is the actual, like, I fucking loved Homie D Clown, dude.
But there's no
I
like
used to
real
watch in
legend around
Living
him, is there?
Color. Like, yeah, what is the actual urban legend around him? You said there was like a band dude named Homie D Clown.
Esham in the early '90s adopted the alter persona of Homie the Clown and did a couple EPs as Homie. And he really the last one he released was like in 2019 or something like that, or not like 2014 or 15.
But what
called
was the
Homie.
urban legend?
I never knew there was an urban legend based on it. I thought it was just I knew about the Wayne's brothers thing, and I knew about the Esham thing, and I just thought like they kind of copied off each other. But
So he threw it in there, and we ran with it, and almost won.
And it
to the
almost
top.
won. Like,
what
That's
can
awesome.
I say? What can I
that's
say?
like my
people?
favorite shit to watch when I was a kid, dude.
What can I say? People like clowns or hate them. They don't. It's never an in between thing. People either hate them or love them.
The creepy as hell. There's no doubt about it.
I think that's what we're doing for my segment. We're just gonna watch some old Homie D
Clowns?
Clown in living color videos. It'd be fucking awesome.
Mhm. I don't know,
Well,
but
Oh, is that
Urban
it?
legends.
Are we mermaided out?
We still got fucking 11 minutes. You better start bringing out some facts here, Deborah.
Well, facts. It doesn't
No.
matter.
well, okay. Here's a wormhole we could jump down. Do you think mermaids are related to Atlantis?
Oh, no, that's an interesting.
I mean,
No.
or as
I don't think
Futurama-
so.
Or I mean, on Futurama, mermaids were when the city of Atlanta put itself made itself an island to make itself more important, and then it sank into the ocean, and the Coca-Cola syrup made them turn into mermaids over time. But
Maybe it was
no,
like
but-
just regular
guys-
evolution.
Do you guys even like believe in Atlantis? There was like one quote
Yes.
from Plato
Y- no,
that
yes,
like
no, it's not. It's more than that. Actually, it's mentioned in multiple different cultures. But
Yeah, I actually kind of do believe. Yeah, I do believe.
And
in Atlantis.
I've done 2 episodes now with an ancient Earth expert who talked about his theories on Atlantis, and I believe what he thinks is. But I also talked to an author who wrote a book, and I'll be saying his name to Deborah soon. But he wrote a book about him and his partner were finding Atlantis in the middle of a desert in North Africa.
Huh.
So I believe in Atlantis. I just don't think it's what everybody thought it was. It wasn't a island that just sank. It was basically a democratic nation with city states all over the world.
Okay, yeah, I've heard that theory. That makes more sense than
Mhm.
But the second person I talked to, who's an expert in ancient Earths, also thinks it wasn't kind of built. It was also a alien human hybrid race.
yeah, that one's least believable to me. Less
Really? That's at least believable to you with the amount of UFO sightings that are out there?
How, dude? I realistically think the fucking government's just shoving this UFO shit down our throat so they can
All right, Scott,
build back better and screw you over. And
Scott, when you want to do an alien episode, I know a bunch of Starseed and Starseed's coach as I can get on here. So,
well, I'll bring some illegal aliens.
No.
no,
We'll have the battle of the aliens.
that's
We'll see who's more believable.
That's insulting to the foreigners. But
That's just
That's
bad.
not true. I got friends will come on here that'll tell you straight up they're illegal.
no, Brittany, Scott.
Brittany is not illegal,
Uh,
but there
Well,
might be some that.
maybe not in that way, but yeah.
Too
So-
fun. Oh my gosh, you guys.
Well,
Well,
I think this episode is in the books, and someone needs to update our Spotify. I think, but
nobody listens on Spotify.
because I can't.
So
because I can't-
many listens on the fucking video shit, but the audio's not doing crap.
See, for me, it's the opposite. Well,
we have nice voices. Come on,
People
Spotify
want to see my
listeners.
pretty face, dude. I look like
Oh, that's what it
fucking
is.
Jason Momoa over here.
Quit looking
Come
so
on
pretty every episode.
now.
Jason Momoa, we stopped working out for a few years, but
Yeah, when he was lean and looking good. Jiminy crickets.
yeah, okay. Him climbing out of the water in Justice League makes women want to jump in the water to hide some things.
Yeah.
So-
So like there's, if you're talking about creatures coming out of the sea that are tempting, you get
Look at these flowing locks, dude.
Where are they microscopic? Like